Welcome back to People Are Terrible. I'm Jeremy, and I'm joined again with Caleb Miles. Welcome back, Caleb.
What's up, man?
Glad to have you here. It's been a couple of weeks since we really even talked.
I know it was because we missed the last week, and then, I guess it's been 1 week, a full week,
Well, it feels like an
oh, a full two
eternity.
weeks. No, because we did on Sunday, missed all last week. Now it's Sunday again, so I guess 2 weeks.
How you been?
Good, man. Just working like crazy, trying to get ready for this baby that could be here any day. So it's a roller coaster of a lot of stuff, which is good though.
If we were
Well,
talking 9 months, like what is the expecting date?
so Christmas Day is our due date.
That's what I thought you said. That's
Yeah.
wild, man.
But like I'll share it on here. We've talked off air. They were expected to go. So labor's 43 weeks. They expected to go in labor in 24 weeks. They told us we would not make it past 26. They told us we should abort her. And now she's 35 weeks, almost 36, perfectly healthy, and 37 is considered. It's not her due date, but it's considered full term. Like if you give birth after 37, 38, you're fine. We're right there.
That's
So
awesome, man. I'm so happy for you guys. I know it's been a real trial for both of you.
yeah, man, it's been rough, especially for my wife, man. She even like little things. She sleeps in the living room on the floor because it's the only place she can be comfortable now. Because I'm a monster and she's tiny and I put a giant monster baby in her. So
Do you sleep on the floor with her, or you got the whole
I
room to
tried,
yourself?
man, but so then I slept on the couch for a while, but then I snored and she
Uh-huh.
said it was bothering her, so I went to the bed. And then now she's in the stage where like insomnia sets in because she's not working right now because she can't. So she like sleeps naps throughout the day, and then at night she's up all night. So she's like, now I'm just gonna keep you up. So yeah, we've been sleeping in different beds for like 3 months.
As a married man, I imagine it's been a while since you were
Yeah,
able to just like sleep in your own space like that. Do you feel like you're gonna get used to it, and then y'all are gonna have to get like double beds like an old married couple?
yeah, and we can even do the thing that they used to do in old Hollywood, where we'll each have to put one leg on the floor while we sleep.
Wait, what?
You didn't see that? They used to do in old movies. So they would either, if they had a different bed, the same bed, they would put one leg on the floor. If you watch old movies, they would like the guy, if he was laying on the left side, would put his left leg on the floor, and then she put her right leg on the floor to show to audiences that they weren't having sex together.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
that's a random dumb fact. I mean, the fact that you're not showing them have sex probably shows the audience that they're not having sex.
Yeah, old Hollywood. Times are different.
Yeah, man, interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So on this episode of the show, we're gonna do things a little off the cuff this time, test it out, see how it goes. But basically, instead of prepping our headlines, we're just gonna go kind of check them out with you guys, see if anything grabs our eyes and gets our attention. But Caleb, you actually said that you had one locked and loaded, man. What you looking at over there?
It was literally the first thing that came up. And this is actually old, but it's still, I was good. I had to reach it. This was actually from January 29th. This is almost a year old, but I just had to bring it up. Rich dude says a housekeeper stuck in an elevator for 3 days did not test, quote, the limits of human endurance.
Said they didn't test it.
Yeah. So a 53-year-old housekeeper was trapped in an elevator of her billionaire employer New York apartment building for 3 days last weekend. What caused the elevator to malfunction is unclear, but the woman was in stable condition after being rescued Monday morning and has since been released from the hospital. Being trapped in an elevator for approximately 72 hours is a difficult thing to endure. This should not be controversial, but the woman's feat was not impressive enough for one of her employer's neighbors, who is another rich person on the Upper East Side. Here's his quote. Humans can last well over 72 hours without water, the man said on the cable news station. Quote, so what she went through isn't anywhere close to the limits of human endurance. It's just beyond we're used to because we've become so civilized. We've lost touch with our true strength.
Spoken like a true rich white asshole.
Dude, what a dick.
Jesus Christ. Okay. What is he trying to prove? I wonder. Like, what is the point in just outing yourself as a total dick?
Well, I don't know if he's just trying to sound cool or what it is, but like because we've lost track. Like, dude, you probably live the cushiest life out of all of us.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm looking at the picture of him, and he's wearing makeup. That's the only reason why I'm like, whoa, where's that coming from?
Oh, I don't know if that's like, is that mine or is that yours?
That's got to be mine. Copyright claim. Jesus Christ. Ah! All right, well, I'm gonna hope you guys enjoy that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He looks like he's wearing a lot of makeup. But what a weird thing to say. It's like, dude, we're already looking at you like you're like a bad guy in a lot of cases. And this is not a good look for you to point out like a person who is like your servant. They probably make a decent living, I'd imagine, being a housekeeper for this guy. Maybe
Probably.
is the girl trying, or is the housekeeper trying to sue the guy and saying I want to be compensated damages for being pushed to the brink of my human endurance?
Well, the thing is, it's not, from the sound of it, it's not the employer that said it. It's
No.
one of the apartment people.
Yeah. I read it as one of like the neighbor, right?
Yeah. It's like the neighbor.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I say that there's really only one way to find out what they endured. I mean, really, there's only one way to find out. Put them in the fucking elevator.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Just 3 days though. I mean, nothing major, dude.
Nothing major. He can do that in his sleep.
How long can a person survive without water? Let's see. I think like a week. Have you heard?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 or 4 days. I don't think it's even that long.
I know you can go like weeks without food.
Yeah, you can go like a shocking amount of time.
60 days or some shit. We're about to find out though. Okay, how long can a person survive without water from Live Science? It looks like. Give me a straight answer, Doc. This is good stuff. Just give me a straight answer. I don't want to read an article. I just want.
I know. Is it like a clickbaity? It's like the answer's on the next page.
Yeah, it's not even like normally you can Google something and it just like the fucking answer will pop up at the top. Yeah, this is not helping me out. Typically lasts 3 to 4 days without water.
Yeah, so she was right on the brink of endurance. Like, not ask.
Like, if you're resilient, you can live longer than the human expectancy to go without water.
He's like, yeah, she's just not tough enough.
I wonder why that just came out.
Why that article, that old story just popped up?
Just popped up like that.
I have no idea. I didn't even realize what it was. It was just the first thing that popped up. And
you Googled weird news?
Yeah, I just Googled weird news and went to the news section.
What browser do you use?
I'm in Chrome.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I didn't go to news though. Yeah, I typed in weird news and was just on the all page. But maybe if I did switch over to news, we'd both be on the same. But I feel like I did not look at something that looked like that. So apparently, the human body needs food and water to survive. Apparently, a human can go 3 weeks without food.
That's
bro. I can't go 3 days without. Oh, that's like no shit. I can't go a full day without food.
No, me either, man. Like I've done it before in the past, like where you get busy with work or something, and then by the end of the day, you're like, I feel sick.
Yeah, dude, that would not go over well for me. I'd just be a jittery fucking mess. Especially both of us drink coffee, dude. There's no way.
Oh man,
nah, it would not be good.
I drink so much coffee a day, and I did do it the day that I didn't eat. It was a rough day.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. All right, well, let's see what else is going on. I'm a citizen hero. Shadow Patriot patrols Nashville streets at night. So I didn't know this, but apparently Nashville's got a violent crime rate that's about 3 times the national average. Did you know that Nashville was a high crime area?
It doesn't shock me. I know Memphis is. But
I'd heard Memphis was, but I just never knew that about Nashville.
It's always the weird places, like Little Rock, Arkansas is super violent. Albuquerque's super violent. It's always the places that you're like wouldn't have expected.
No, definitely not. No. So the guy looks like a watchman. I mean, 100%. He kind of looks like the comedian, only he's got a cape on. And it says this article, according to News Channel 5 out of Nashville, says there's a different kind of patriot walking the streets of Nashville. He might look like Captain America, but he doesn't call himself a superhero. Photojournalist Dan Blomell spent time documenting the man known as the Shadow Patriot, Nashville's citizen hero. And this guy apparently patrols the streets during the daytime, trying to make people patriotic, like trying to make them love America, and then by night I don't know exactly what he does. There's like no confirmed cases of him like ever stopping crime or anything, but maybe he's more of a symbol. What do you think about these quote unquote real life superheroes in places like Seattle and apparently
Yeah, I was gonna
Nashville?
say the guy in Seattle was the first one, the Rain City, whatever.
So weird. There's a documentary on those guys.
Really? And then there was a guy who came out and wanted to be the supervillain for him. He didn't do anything. He was like just a nerdy dude who put like a YouTube video saying he was gonna do stuff to him.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty funny though. But like he was clearly. Here's my thing: is this stuff works on paper, but when you see someone in real life, like Batman would be a crazy person in the real world.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
like he's the guy who runs around and beats up people who just escaped mental institutions. Like he's this shit's weird, man. When I see stuff like this, I don't ever want anything bad to happen to people. But if it does, I'm like, well, yeah. You know, like this dude, throw this dude, and probably personally, the Nashville dude, I doubt he's in the hoods of Nashville walking around like that.
Only the safest downtown
Yeah.
areas. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like, if you read into like like take a character like Batman. Everybody loves Batman. I fucking love Batman.
Love
And then you
Batman.
look into like you start to look at the social implications, the classism implications, all of that shit, and you're like, oh yeah, I can see how that's problematic. But
It
at the
makes
same
sense why the cops want to shut him down. Like when you like some people are like, why would the cops shut this down? I'm like, because it's a crazy man running around dressed like a bat, beating up people with mental disabilities.
like
Yeah,
you said, people with mental disability, poor people with mental disabilities. Batman's just out there fucking them up.
you should beat the shit out of them.
But and we love it. Like
I
I
love
fucking love
Batman.
it. Yeah, there's like if you overanalyze anything, it can get to be where it's like it's problematic. Obviously, it's fiction, and that's why it needs to remain in fiction, because when you start trying to do this shit in real life, either A, you're just punching down on people, or B, in the more likely scenario, is one of these crazy poor people is gonna fucking murder your ass.
Yeah, it's speaking of like real life superheroes, this dude's not trying to be a superhero, but have you seen the Iranian Hulk?
No.
Okay, search Iranian Hulk. This is a bodybuilder. Um it looks photoshopped. It's not. He has an Instagram. I've been to his Instagram.
Holy shit. That
It's that can't be healthy. There's
bro. That's so crazy looking. It looks like he wore a fucking corset for 20
dude,
years.
there's one where he's all hairy, where he hasn't shaved his body. Have you seen it? The picture?
Let's see.
It looks like Zangief from
Yeah. The one where he's got the full beard and the mohawk on top.
yeah, doesn't he?
That's crazy looking, dude. Yeah, 100%. He looks like the real life Zangief. It's just so weird how stacked he is up top, because yeah, that's very much like the anime draw way, or like the just comic book way of
It's
drawing muscle.
yeah, exactly. It looks like the way you draw Hulk, like where that dude, that can't be healthy.
I mean, do you think it's naturally achieved?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think he works out, but there has to be. I mean, there has to be some sort of chemical in there that's making it possible.
Oh, I've got a picture of homeboy in like a fucking Jason Voorhees black hockey mask, looking real scurry. He needs to be a playable character on the next Mortal Kombat.
Dude, he is. It's insane. There's just no way that's healthy. Like you're gonna hear that this guy. Apparently, he's 27. So you're gonna hear this
Jesus.
guy's dead by like 35.
He might be sooner than that, bro. I just now saw one of these articles. It's like he's about to make his MMA debut. I could almost guarantee he's gonna get fucked up.
I was just gonna say he's gonna get his ass beat.
That's what I always love to see, is these big, giant, muscular dudes getting in the ring, thinking that that's gonna translate to them being able to fight and just getting destroyed. Like Brock Lesnar, he was not bad, but he definitely didn't come in and just start owning dudes in the MMA.
Brock Lesnar wasn't like technically as someone who loves MMA, he wasn't very talented. He was just so massive that he used his size against people.
Uh-huh.
And I remember when the first Mexican heavyweight champion beat him. Well, I can't think of his name, but anyway, we were taking bets on the fight, and a bunch of my friends had it over, and I was the only person people like Brock Lesnar. I'm like, no, he's gonna get his ass destroyed. This is a dude who's up and coming, lives in the gym, younger, talented. They're like, he's half his size. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Uh-uh.
Like
No.
it doesn't. This is technique.
Anybody that's stuck with fucking MMA long enough knows that size does not matter at
No,
all. I mean, Gracie is one of the greatest of all time, and
not.
he's not a big guy.
No, he was destroying big dudes at the beginning.
Yeah.
I have a weird headline. Let's see what this goes. Family lashes out at dad's list of demanding rules to visit his newborn son.
Oh, here we go. This is applicable.
Yeah, I thought this was. Oh man, it just popped up with a thing.
It's just
See
like
generic
subscription.
ads. No, it's like blocking me. It's like answer a quick question about
Mm.
privacy. Skip survey. God damn it. Okay. A first time dad has angered both his own parents and in laws by insisting they all follow an extensive list of requirements when visiting his newborn son.
All right, so as we go through the list, let's talk about like each of them on their own. Is this by itself acceptable or not? All right, go.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to get to the list.
All right,
Okay.
go.
Here's rules where I found it.
All right.
You can't visit if you feel ill. I feel like that's a okay one.
Yeah, that tracks.
That makes sense. No children under 18 because schools are breeding grounds for viruses. It's a little extreme.
Yikes. All right, yeah, we're already getting into fucking crazy town.
Visitors to wear light perfume or no perfume at all. Crazy man.
Yeah.
Always agree a visiting time first. Well, that's fine. I mean, and then
Yeah, don't be a dickhead and just drop in at anybody's
don't
house.
yeah, don't knock on someone's door. I hate when people do that shit.
Fuck
I
yeah.
ain't answering, even if I'm home. I'll be like, you didn't book with me.
Yeah.
Visit only between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
If you've established a time, I don't know. That's weird. It's like visiting hours are the same time that people should be at work. Okay, weird.
No gifts because it'll be a hassle to bring home. What a douche.
What? Like, did he like email this to everybody? Did he?
I don't
Is
know.
it an
Let
oral
me see.
contract?
Let me see.
It don't matter. I don't
Send
want
out
to
an
fuck your
email.
thing
Yep.
up. Okay, so he sent out a mass email to everybody who would potentially want to come and fuck with his newborn baby. All right.
And then keep visits between 3 to 4 people at a time.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. My kid, I'm the other way. Like, we don't have family out here. And I want to bring my kid around as much people as possible because I want my kid to be socialized.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to be one of those people, especially like so far we're having one and we might only have she might be a single child. We don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to be one of these people. We've all met them where you're like, man, your parents did not socialize you
Oh
at
yeah.
all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's what he wrote. He wrote, I felt a little overbearing, but my wife read it over and said it sounded fine. His aunt was the first to visit, and her husband of 2 adult children, meaning his own parents are asked to wait outside when they arrive
What?
because the rules stating the maximum of 4 visitors.
Oh.
The aunt was, quote, polite and cut her time short, allowing the parents to meet their grandson for the first time. An hour later, his wife's parents arrive with another grandson in tow. Quote, my wife tells them that they can't bring him in, he says. Their grandson started to cry, and my mother-in-law starts to scold us for forbidding children. So my father pipes up saying that we're being too coddling. Then my mother starts up and tells us that we've been very rude and cold and says that as a grandmother, it's her right to visit the baby as she pleases, and she shouldn't have to RSVP to her grandson's birth. She calls me impolite for sending out a demanding email like I did and insists that I regulate my son as strictly as I did his visitings. He'll grow up resenting my wife and I.
Yeah, I mean that sounds
Man,
fair. I mean legit. I'm sure they would resent that. It's like, okay, so the email, you put it out as like a rough guideline. Like this is what we would like things to be. But then you gotta make exceptions if like you just had the kid and your family's coming to show up. You gotta like
Here's my
just take it
thing.
easy.
I can totally understand being like, hey, I don't really want anyone to visit at the hospital. We're gonna take her home. You can come visit then. Like that's cool,
Sure.
you know. Like that's to me fine. Because I get it. Childbirth is it's demanding and it's tragic. It's it's hard on you and it's hard on her and well, obviously harder on her. And I can understand me like I just don't want to see anyone. I want to spend some time with my baby and my husband. Like I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever known anyone who's had like lists like this, like not sent them out, but were super demanding?
I mean, it reminds me of, and I don't mean to put him on. It reminds me of my brother and his wife, but they've never like actually made a list of rules to abide. They're just weird in some ways about shit. Like I don't know, man. It seems really antisocial. That's the big thing I get out of it. It's less about like how each of those rules on their own isn't really that bad of a thing, but the fact that you're such a control freak that you construct this list and then send it out to everybody, like it sounds like he was trying to get him to sign a contract.
Yes.
It's fucking weird.
Here's my yeah. I've known someone, and I won't put them on blast, but
Oh, you're not gonna sell out your own family
no,
for a
no.
fucking couple views? All right.
If they heard it though, they would know who it was. And there was all these things like, you can't come in at this, you can't do that. It was so hard that I missed a good chunk of time with this child's life because I finally got to a point. Me and my wife were like, "Fuck it." I was like, okay, I guess we're not seeing the kid ever,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And the child's way older now. And we have a great relationship, but we missed out on years because we got to a point where it was just like, you're so overbearing. Like you can't treat your kid like a bubble boy. You just can't. Like that, you're not doing any services to your child.
Like, what kind of family is this that you can set up visitation between 9 and 5? That right there just
That's
seems
weird.
like a dickhead flex. Like the only time you can visit is when you're at work.
Yeah, like that's a weird thing. I've met families like this though. So my family is very warm, and I'm guessing just from knowing you, your family probably is too.
Mm,
They're probably like the hey hug people.
yes.
Yeah, but we've all met those people who their family was not like that.
Mm.
And
Homeschool students.
yeah, it's crazy. There's a poll at the bottom, so I took it. Was the dad right to enforce his list of rules? Yes, his baby, his rules, or no, it's overbearing. No, it's overbearing one at 59%, but yes, his baby, his rules was 41%. Like that's it's kind of shocking that
So
it's
you think it
41%.
should be less than that?
It should be like 12%. Like
Yeah.
being a douche.
I mean, it is his baby.
Yeah, but
It's also their family.
I just would never restrict my own mother from seeing our child.
No, like
That
what kind of dickhead move is that?
that's such an asshole thing. Like my mom was so excited about having her first granddaughter. She had sons. She had two sons, and my brother has a boy, and so we're a boy family. So like, it'd be such a dick move for me to be like, nah, you can't do this, mom.
So, what about though the hypothetical scenario? We don't know these people. What if the family are just all horrible fucking people?
Well, they probably are because they raised this horrible son.
But does that change it? Does that change things? Is it okay that he sets the hours between when he knows they cannot come around?
Honestly, if my family um was that bad, I just would not have anything to do with them.
Yeah, yeah. If I was this guy's family, I would not want anything to do with him. Kind of what you were talking about with you and Shobi is like once it becomes more of a hassle or like a chore for you to go and visit this person and their kid than it is to actually like enjoy it. It really loses a lot of the quality time element of it.
Yeah, it does. You're like, it makes it so unenjoyable,
Hmm.
because you're like, family shouldn't be. I love my family, but one of my problems with family in general is it is sometimes a headache. It shouldn't be a headache, but
Hmm.
people turn things into, and I'm so chill that like nothing gets to me. Like when there's drama, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like I'm gonna go about my business.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Family can ruin it by being rules. There shouldn't be rules with family. Like my rule is don't physically assault me. That's about about where it's at.
I've
You
got
know?
boundaries. Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's it. But besides that, I mean, there shouldn't be rules. People, People are too fucking uptight, man, especially with your own family. Like, chill the fuck out.
So I saw this. Do you remember he was like an Australian simulation rendered of what a person would look like in 20 years. I feel like we talked about him
Oh,
before.
like the mixed person where it says this is what everyone will look like because we're so mixed.
No. This wasn't a race thing. It was like his
Oh,
head was super broad and man, let me.
oh, I do remember that.
He was like a crash. Let's see, Australian man prediction model. I have no idea how to Google this. I think his name was Phil.
There was a really cool thing. An artist did a thing with what people will look like in 20 years in America, and it was really cool. And they're like, and they were all gorgeous. Of course, we're not going to look like this. They were all like supermodels, but it was really cool. But it was more about like how America is such a breeding ground for interracial dating and this, and it's like everyone's going to be. Or it was like 100 years, whatever it was. It was really cool though.
This is let's see. I just now found him. He was a model built to show what the ideal body would look like in order to survive a car crash. His name is Graham. Type in Graham car crash.
Right.
So this is just for context because this thing is hideous looking.
Holy shit! I haven't seen this.
Isn't that fucking gross? So it comes from meetgram.com.au. Turn your sound up for the best audio experience. No, I'm good. The only person designed to survive on our roads. Tell me more.
Holy
The
shit!
truth
This
is
is
that
the most
cars.
terrifying thing I've ever seen.
So okay, that's the weird thing. Okay, this guy Graham. I don't know why they do these things, but the reason why I bring this up because this was from a couple years ago. But on Sky News, there is a new life-size model that shows office workers what they might look like in 20 years. And this
Okay.
life-size doll named Emma has a permanently hunched back, varicose veins, red eyes, and protruding stomach. And I ain't gonna lie, I think I'm kind of starting to look like this already.
Oh, dude, I am too, man. My back's from being so tall is so fucked. I'm looking like this already.
You see her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me a lot more realistic than our friend Graham.
A lot more realistic.
But I don't understand what it means. In 20 years' time, the average office worker is what this saying is that Jeremy in 20 years is going to look like this, or is this saying in 20 years office workers are going to look like this? Because either way, I'm calling bullshit.
It's saying people who currently work in offices, so like you and me in 20 years will look like this.
Jesus Christ.
Which, like I said, well, I also have a little bit of scoliosis anyway from being obese as a child. So this is a lot more predictable for my future.
Do you have the neck slump?
No, I don't.
No, luckily I don't.
I used to look like I had it because I had that big fat cyst, which is why they found out I had cancer.
Oh yeah.
Big bump, but it was a fat cyst. No, luckily I don't.
Was it like the size of a fucking softball?
It was the size of like a ping pong ball, probably.
Oh goodness. So,
But you could see it from the front, so it made me look like I had that.
I wonder sometimes if my posture is the reason why my belly looks like I'm fucking pregnant, but I don't know. I try to like bend my back in a way so it's like less obvious, but I probably just need to go exercise.
No, I need to go exercise. And well, my back, like I said, is fucked anyway from childhood obesity. It destroys your back. Apparently, childhood obesity not good for you.
No, that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
So the article says
The body positivity movement tells you.
Yeah. Okay, so unless changes to the work environment are made, this is what we're going to look like in 20 years. Thick varicose veins from spending too much time sat down, as well as protruding stomach caused by a sedentary lifestyle. Also has a permanently hunched back and red and sore eyes from leaning forward and staring at a screen. God, dude, this shit is just too real for me. I get shit from Victoria, dude, so much. She'll be like, why are your eyes so red? Why are your eyes so red and glossy all the time? And I'm like, I think it's from fucking staring at a computer 12 hours out of the day, but I'm not sure.
Do you have blue light glasses?
No.
Dude, buy a pair of blue light glasses on Amazon.
Is that's the ticket that's gonna fix me up?
Dude, because I used to, when I started my job, because you're staring at a computer. I stared at a computer 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
It got to a point where I would come home and I felt nauseous, have the worst headache. Because my last job, I didn't ever really stare at a computer, and the blue light, it doesn't fix it, but it definitely is a lot less eye strain.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna jump on board of that. I mean, obviously, I smoke pot too, and that's gonna make your eyes red. But it's the combination of those two things, and it just wrecks my eyes in the evening. And it does. It looks like crap, but I know that it hasn't always been that way. Because I spend 8 hours a day at work on a computer, staring way too fucking close. I don't know why I do it, but I literally do lean into the screen, and then I get home and I spend another 2 hours, 3 hours in front of a fucking computer screen doing more editing.
I have a standing desk, and it's the best thing ever.
Yes, dude.
Oh, like the one where you press the button so it goes up and down. It's amazing.
Does it set up on top of your desk, or it is the desk itself?
No, the desk is automated. So you press a button and the whole desk will raise, or
Oh,
you press a button
wow.
and the whole desk will drop to wherever, and you can put it any height. The thing is, I'm so tall that like I had to put it up all the way and then get like stacks of paper and put it underneath my monitors because I'm so fucking tall that they don't go up this high.
Is it at home or is it at your office?
It's at my office.
That's awesome. I really want one of those. I've been talking about that, or, the fucking treadmill with the desk on
That's
top of it.
No, I probably look like such a douche. I'm a guy who has a headset on, and then I sit there and I bounce a basketball all day or draw the whole day
Oh, that's nice.
because my job's more talking than actual the computer input. Computer input's part of it, but it's sales. I have to talk to you to get your information before. And even that, man, if I didn't have a standing desk, people freak out. They're like, "You don't sit very often in the day." I stand 99% of the day
That's
because
so much better.
oh, dude, it hurts my back by the end of the day if I sit.
I would fucking scream at you, dude, if you were bouncing a basketball all day long when I was trying to be on
Oh,
the phone.
oh, well, my work's so loud. It's like people are blowing air horns and running around with Nerf guns, and we're total new
What?
agey. Yeah, we have video games set up, ping pong tables,
What?
pool tables, arcade cabinets.
Openings?
I know, right? There's always openings, but the turnover is extremely high.
I move out to fucking Denver and get fired in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, that you'd be the vast majority of people there.
Mm.
Yeah,
Man, that sounds great though. That's like a very Silicon Valley business
very much.
model.
I work at a tech company, so I won't say who, but I work for a website, and so um, it's very much that we have basketball courts and people riding around on bikes and scooters in the office, and
I don't
yeah,
know why you don't do more to support or to promote Grinder, dude. It's like let's see why you would hide it.
that's why
Uh,
I'm pushing it out there.
all right, well, what else is going on?
My company does own a dating app though that I do not work for, but they do own it.
90% of office workers in the UK who suffer from health issues because of their jobs perform poorly at work. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. Like, it's like,
Make my like I want to fix my posture already.
yeah, that's 49% of people at work had bad backs. So that it just sucks, man. It's like it's what people kind of like aspire to do is get, well, I say that because I worked in the service industry for so long, but our office job sounds cushy, and then you get into it and you realize, like, man, running around on my feet carrying around trays and all of that shit felt so much better than fucking sitting
Yes,
here.
that was me, man. I worked retail forever, and then you're like, oh, I got an office job, and then it's harder on your body.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I guess the only real solution is just to get physically active when you have the time. You gotta bring home that bread, gotta make money to fucking survive. But then you gotta also, put some sort of value on your own physical and mental well-being and take the initiative. And it's hard. It's hard, but I think fucking getting started is way harder than it is to just keep the momentum.
This girl I used to work with, she still works there. She's worked from home now, but she was right in front of me, and had a treadmill that she would run on while she was on the phone talking to people, running on this treadmill. And then she would do kettlebells all day and lift weights and do squats all day. Like this chick was in incredible shape, you
It,
know.
it's kind of weird. I like I'm at that weird phase of like I don't want to go to the gym because I'm like out of shape, but it's like I don't want to look like I'm struggling or some shit. I don't know how to explain it.
No, believe me, when I was 400 pounds and started going to the gym, very fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's very awkward. I need to get back in the gym, man. I'm getting so fat. I
It,
gained like 20 pounds. Granted, like 20 pounds on my frame is like 5 pounds.
right, right.
But it's still, I work too hard to lose it. But I don't know. We're just getting older, and times I have less and less time. It seems like every fucking day.
Yeah, I mean, you literally do. Like
Yeah.
you in particular, it's gonna be extreme. So,
Yeah. So it's even now just having like a pregnant wife who's stuck at home. It's definitely changed.
all right. Well,
We doing Florida or doing more weird news?
I'm gonna do one more weird news, and this one is Arizona man narrowly avoids shooting a taco. Arizona man narrowly avoids shooting. Quote: A taco saved my life. So I don't know what
Okay.
this is right here, but it sounds like a good headline. The tacos. Okay, Ryan Bishop said he avoided injury or worse because his usually open car window was closed because I didn't want pieces of the taco flying around. Okay, so somebody opened fire and it hit his car. He pulled over and called the police, who arrived at the scene. They discovered a bullet sitting on his dashboard, and that's when he focused on the taco he'd been eating when the shots rang out. So the taco didn't stop the bullet.
No, this is very misleading headline.
All right, well, fuck that. Now we're gonna go ahead and hit Interstate 10 and head on down to Welcome to Florida.
I got one pulled up.
Go ahead.
A Florida dog puts car in reverse, drives in a circle for an hour.
Our good friend German Rifter VR over on Twitter actually tagged us in this post this
Really?
week.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good doggy.
Yeah, I haven't seen the video. Let me see the video yet. And also shout out to German Rifter. He's a super cool dude. He purchased some art for me, so I really appreciate him for his VR cave.
And if he didn't, would you still think he was cool?
No, hell no. It's all about the money.
All right, just making sure.
Um,
Oh shit!
Man, look at this car. This dog go.
I love how the cops just nonchalantly approaching it, like, "Oh God, another day, another dollar."
He's just like, I'm over this shit. Is he gonna hit the mailbox? Nope.
Nah, just a nice little donut, and that's it. Okay, what kind of dog? What kind of dog are we talking about here? Let's see.
It's a black lab.
Fucking labs are the best, dude.
Like it's a black lab.
It locked the owner out of the car and then proceeded to drive reverse donuts in a cul-de-sac. According to a Facebook post from Port St. Lucie police, the dog's owner made a wrong turn into the cul-de-sac, then stopped and stepped out of his car while leaving it running with his dog Max inside, wasting no time to fulfill his need for speed. Max jumped onto the console of the 2003 Mercury Sable and hit the shifter into reverse. The car proceeded to slowly circle the cul-de-sac with Max along for the ride. The owner had a spare key fob, but the battery inside was dead. Police instead used the door code to gain access and put it into Max's joyride. The dog was fine, but the car did hit a mailbox and cause some damage. I mean, do you write the dog a ticket?
I guess so. I think you do. I think you have to.
Yeah, you know that dog's not insured.
I am. But see, another argument for my cats are superior. A cat would never do this.
Yeah, because a cat would not know how to.
I don't know. My cat used to open doors and turn on lights. So
That's actually a good point. Yeah, I like to fuck around and make fun of cats, but they actually are pretty smart. Reese is an escape artist.
it's funny. That's like me. I really play at the dog thing because it's just to fuck with people. Like I don't mind dogs. I'm not like a dog person, but I don't mind them. Like if I go over to someone's house with a dog, you'd think I'm a dog person because I'm a human being with a heart.
Yeah.
But
You don't just like avoid ignore them.
no, but when the thing that does bug me is when someone like is walking a dog and they just let it run up to you, like you don't know if I like dogs.
Yeah.
That does bug me.
And I can't let people do it because they don't know that my dog doesn't like people. It's like no, stay away. People will be like, "Can I pet your dog?" And I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "No, seriously, stay the fuck away from my dog."
Well, that's my thing is like you don't know. Like the person could be allergic to dogs. The person could be, you never know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know.
You Sublime fan?
Love Sublime.
So this Florida man says his eviction stems from Santeria religion. A Florida man claims he's being evicted from his apartment because he practices Santeria. For those of you guys that don't know what Santeria is, it's almost like Wiccan in Latin culture, Mexican culture. Does that sound legit?
I think that's about what it is. Yeah.
So, Fort Myers News Press reports that 68-year-old man Humberto Real is fighting his eviction from a local senior complex by going to court. Housing authority officials declined to comment on Real's specific case, but said there is a process to deal with tenants who may become disruptive or cause problems. He simply says he wants to practice his religion. Santeria has African and Cuban roots, Practitioners often use icons or statues for purposes such as warding off evil. He has 2 sugarcane stalks in front of his door for just that purpose. Sounds like he's saying that they're kicking him out of this old folks facility for having 2 pieces of sugarcane in front of his door, which I'm starting to smell bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds like a whole bunch of bullshit.
It's like, what did you really do, man? What did you really do? It's not because you practice Santeria.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's not because you have no crystal ball.
There's something.
You're going to keep doing this?
There's a headline that just popped up that made me laugh.
What is it? What you got?
Florida man stuffs over $50 worth of steak. That's an old one we covered, I think, at some point in time. It's just the headline.
They stuffed $50 worth of steak.
Yeah, it's an old headline. It's like literally really old, from like 2 years ago.
Let's see here. Like the first one that popped up was the cocaine.
Here's the good one.
Uh-huh.
A homeless woman locked herself inside a Florida Walgreens to keep warm overnight. I mean, which makes sense.
Yeah. Stay warm out there, people. It's just, I feel bad for homeless people around in like the winter months, but I'd imagine California would be the place you wanted to go.
Dude, it blows my mind when I see homeless people out in Denver in the winter. I'm like, how?
Yeah, go somewhere, dude. Catch a fucking train and get out of there.
Yeah, you know.
Come on down to Florida. We don't have enough fucking what do you call those people? Not vagrants. What do you call a person that's like they transient? We don't have enough transient people here in Florida. Yeah, right. Largo, Florida. A Florida man is accused of spitting food into a woman's mouth following a road rage incident.
Okay, this is a very like how does this happen? So you get in road rage.
The arrest report says that Whipperman got into a road rage incident with a woman that evening. He got out of his truck and approached the woman's vehicle. She rolled down her window and apologized to Whipperman. The report says Whipperman spit the food he was chewing at her, then opened the door and screamed at her. It isn't clear why it took several weeks to arrest him, but he got arrested. Ugh, dude.
That's so weird. I just don't get how you... I don't know. Like, I don't understand how you physically spit in someone's mouth. Like, I just understand how trying to, but...
That's a good question. Is it a situation where they were both talking to each other, and as he was yelling, food particles came out of his mouth and hit her mouth? Or is it like he baby birded her, he fucking tilted her head back, opened her mouth, and just spit his food into it like he was going to regurgitate it for her? Or did he see an opening and he had like a fucking mouthful of hamburger and he just hawked it straight into her mouth at the perfect timing?
Like a baby bird, like somehow he's just like bleh.
That's what the headline makes it sound like. I'm starting to wonder if it's the other thing. You didn't do the show last week, but there was the article about the person in California. There was a California woman who went to visit Hollywood Boulevard for the first time ever, and when she got out of her vehicle, a homeless dude with a bucket full of diarrhea ran over and just splashed it on her.
That sounds like Hollywood.
Doused her with fucking hot diarrhea. She freaked out. The paramedics show up and they're like, "Ma'am, we regret to inform you that there's no way that was just one deuce. It seems like he's been collecting it up for about a month."
You know what? Even though like Florida gets a lot of shit, I'm so shocked there isn't like a California man.
Bro, no doubt. No
There's
doubt.
so much, like, in Hollywood specifically, like, I've seen a man laying I told you the story, like, laying out masturbating in the middle of Hollywood on a sidewalk.
I hear Hollywood Boulevard is just somewhere you do not wanna go.
Dude, it's a shit my wife was even saying because we were watching this British show, and they're like, "Hollywood glamour, Hollywood." She's like, "Oh, they've clearly never been to Hollywood." I used to think that too until I actually went to Hollywood.
Yeah, people
It's
are
a
like, "If you
shithole.
come to LA, don't go to Hollywood. Keep it
It
in your
is
head."
a shithole, yeah, it's not nice by any I got a good one here.
Uh-huh.
380-pound Florida man arrested after hiding drugs in his belly button.
Whoa.
It's a pretty good hiding spot.
Yeah. Yeah, what kinda drugs we talking about?
I don't know. Well, what take a guess. What type of drugs do you think you would hide in a belly button
I just
in
don't
Florida?
understand how you could be that big on crystal meth.
Exactly. That was my thing, that was like, of course, you're right, it's meth,
Yeah, what else
but
would it be?
of course, it's Florida, it's meth. A 380-pound Florida man uses belly button to stash a bag of meth, police said. Martin Skelly, 41, of St. Petersburg, was busted early Saturday after he reportedly showed up at a McDonald's, of course, in Clearwater with a drug-filled needle. Investigators found a 28-gauge needle on Skelly, and he was arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine. Uh, Police searched Skelly before he was booked at the jail. Before he was transported, authorities asked Skelly if he had any more contraband on him, warning him that he could face additional charges if more drugs were found in jail. But Skelly said no. While being processed, they found a small bag of meth wedged in between his belly button cavity.
When you
That's
put
a
it
nice
that
word.
way.
Belly button cavity is a great thing.
Yeah, it's a little redundant. It's like it's just belly button's fine. We get it.
And then he was like, he said, Skelly said, I was just being dumb and not thinking. It sounds like that's your whole life, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least you're, self-actualizing here, or
I mean,
like,
I had a little bit of a belly button, not enough to hold a maybe when I was 400 pounds, I might have been able to put a little small bag of meth in there.
I get a little something in there, a
Yeah,
little
you get a
rock.
little something. I could get a rock or something.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and change gears and head over to this week's topics. I haven't researched this well, but everybody's asking me about this whole COPPA thing, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and is it going to affect content creators? And it's so funny, bro. Because we do this podcast week after week. It's obviously not the most politically correct, not the most
Mhm.
family friendly, not the most anything that kids need to be watching or listening to. I'm not saying if you're a kid you should or should whatever the fuck you do is not my business. But we don't design stuff for kids.
No.
It's not ever been our intention. However, last week Ian and I talked about the Disney Plus thing. Is Disney Plus is discussing Disney Plus make it kids content? I think that's kind of the whole gray area where
That's
people
a
are
very
at
good
right
point.
now. Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, I'm actually been reading up on it.
So, just first of all, what are your general thoughts about the implementation of this in general?
So, I'm did you hear how this all got started?
Nah,
First of
talk
all,
to
how
me,
they
man.
so, um, you're not allowed to sign up for YouTube unless you're 13 anyway, which is where this starts. That's why they put that age. They're not allowed to collect data. No one is from people under the age of 13. Um, so that had been fine, but YouTube outed themselves in a meeting. They went to like Mattel and all these things and were like, hey, you guys should buy toy ads with us. We're literally the number one source for kids at age of 5 to 8. We have all this data that we've been collecting, which is illegal.
Oh, okay.
So they outed themselves. So the FTC got a hold of this and was like, whoa, 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 you can't collect data. So what this law, I think it was like 1998 was when this was passed. Um, what it states is under a certain age, you're not allowed to collect data on minors because they have to, if they are, the parents have to consent to it. You have to have a parent like opt into it. And the problem they're running into is the targeted ads. So YouTube has come out and said that they're still going to run ads on kids stuff. They're just not going to be the ones where the targeted ads, where it looks at your browsing history, all these other things to
Mm.
target ads to you, because that would require data. Um, which fine to me. I'm like, okay, just run this like old TV. It's toy content. Put toys on it. It's kids. Put kids stuff on it. The problem is targeted ads pay considerably more. A normal ad is 60 to 90% less on these
Mm.
channels. So these people are going to take a huge pay cut. Um, my thing, so that's kind of to bring it back on it, but, as far as so I'm very and this fits with my very libertarian views, I'm not really into FTC at all. I'm not into government regulation,
Right.
period. So, I'm not a big fan of the FTC. Granted, this ship sailed, we have these laws. YouTube is breaking the law, you know? Like, I'm anti-regulation. I'd be fine seeing this get removed, and that's a conversation we need to have, but in this scenario, YouTube's the bad guy, not the government.
Hmm. Interesting take. I can kind of and again, I'm coming at this from almost no I haven't done a whole lot of research. I watched a video from some lawyer guy who was talking about it, and I felt like the video was very fear mongery.
Yes,
I
which
feel like
all
it's
these things are.
yeah. I feel like there's a lot of sensationalism going along with it, and what I to tie it back around to what my initial statements were about how we don't necessarily do family friendly content or children specific content. I've had friends contact me or DM me or text message me, a couple of different creators, and say like, "Man, this new thing is really messed up, isn't it?" And I'm just like, I don't know. And they're
It
like,
doesn't affect us, like, yeah.
yeah, that and they're like, I mean, dude, they could deplatform you, they could sue you, they could do all these things, and I'm just not. We're gonna take the chances anymore. And I'm like, dude, we're getting like 100 views on the good uploads that we do.
Yeah,
Like, why do you think they care? Like, how narcissistic do you have to be to think they're
well,
gonna come after your ass? And plus, they're not doing the kind of shit we do. They're reviewing Marvel movies and they don't curse on them, or they're like doing the chicken sandwich videos, and like they're making the most, I mean, I would say maybe PG-13 content that you can make. They don't curse on it and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think this applies to you. I don't know why you're so
also,
concerned.
they're not doing it via algorithm, first of all, they're not doing it they've come out despite what people think, like, the FTC is a bunch of old people who don't know anything about technology, they do. They're actually manually reviewing stuff. They've already said they're only going after the biggest people who are getting millions of views,
Yeah.
like, they're going to now my thing is here's the thing is, am I against this? Would I rather the FTC not be doing this? Obviously, because I'm anti-regulation. But the thing that bugs me the fuck out of this is everyone's freaking out now. So, okay, now all you people who were freaking out when we deregulated other things on the internet a year ago, and you thought the world was ending and everything's still fine, are now all of a sudden, um, you were pro-regulation a year ago when you thought it would benefit you and anti-big company. Now you're pro-big company and anti-regulation. Pick one. Like, at least
Yeah.
be ideologically consistent. I'm anti-regulation, so I'm fine. I agree, this should be gone because guess who's responsible for knowing if their kids' information is online? The parents.
And
Like,
it's interesting when you said, because you're right, YouTube was designed for people 13 and up, but then you look at shit like Ryan's toy reviews,
yes.
and I mean there are tons of other ones. I just don't know what they're called. There's all these like Disney, like there's so much specific children's content out there. There's YouTube Kids. So I
Yep.
don't like I mean that's where these issues are bumping up against each other, and why they're having to do all of this anyways, because a couple months back it was like there was all these quote unquote children's channels that were doing like sexually
Weird shit,
suggestive
yeah.
weird shit, and it's like that those I feel like are the target. Those are the people that YouTube or the government are trying to eliminate, not the person who's reviewing the new Captain Marvel movie and happens to say shit one time in it or something like that. Nobody
Who
cares.
so, yeah, the problem is they are going after ad dollars for targeted ads on kids' content
Mm,
because the law says you cannot collect sensitive information from kids under the age of 13. Can't do it.
right.
Which honestly, even though I'm anti-regulation, it is a sensible law. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
sure. Yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm not so libertarian that I'm like, oh, every law is a bad law. It's a sensible law. I would be fine stripping it away because I think it's the parent's responsibility. So my thing is, YouTube is knowingly breaking the law. And here's how you know that they knowingly are doing it. You have to be 13. So they made this rule to get around the COPPA, you know?
Uh-huh.
That you have to be 13 to sign up. But then in private investor meetings, they're saying bragging about how they have all this data on 5 to 8-year-olds. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, the problem that sucks is YouTube is not going to pay for it. I mean, they are to an extent. It's the independent content creators on YouTube who are going to be hit by it.
So when you say about being ideologically consistent, I understand creators who take a stand against this and move platforms or go
Mhm.
to and start doing their stuff on Facebook. Like I 100% support the if you believe in something, you should do what you believe to be right. So if you're saying, ideologically or from a moral perspective, I have an objection to what YouTube is doing, so I'm moving elsewhere. I 100% support your decision to do that. If you're one of these content creators who's just bought into this narrative that all of a sudden now the government's coming to shut down all content creators for not marking their stuff as being child friendly or child unfriendly, uh, to me, I just can't get behind that because it's so self important. I can't get it.
Well, and here's the thing that just bothers me, like I said, is I'm trying to think that Internet Privacy Act when they got rid of that a couple of years ago. Like I think it was like as soon as Trump took office, and it was going back to 2012 regulations. Everyone lost their mind, and everything was fine. I told people that I'm like, nothing's gonna fine. We're going back to the dark ages of 2012. We're fine.
Yeah.
It was like a 2 year thing that didn't affect anybody. So everyone was like, strip away regulations, strip away uh, I mean, everyone was like, "No, don't strip away. We need more regulation. Don't strip away. Let these we need to take it to these private companies." And now that it's affecting them, regulation, all of a sudden they're anti-regulation. Pick one. Are you pro-regulating big companies? And this is something that is more sensical than the previous laws that they were worried about. Like this is something that's attempting. I do think the FTC has good intentions. It's wanting to protect children,
Yeah.
which is honorable. But I'm like, pick one. Are we pro big government and having all these restrictions on business, or are we not? Or are we only pro big government when we feel like it's going to help us personally? Like, I don't know. That's just where my mind goes right away. Me, I think COPPA should be go away. Like personally, because I think it's not the government's job to raise our children. It's our job to be responsible parents. But most of these people, it's not gonna fucking matter too. There are big companies, they already talked after like they're going after like Mattel and
Right.
Disney, and they're going after mega companies, and they're having them pay fines so it doesn't have to be after the taxpayer.
And yeah, you can't fucking milk or yeah, milk a stone or whatever. You can't squeeze water out of a diamond. I don't understand like how what would be the point in going after people who are getting a couple hundred views a video? I just don't understand how that would be worth anybody's time or energy. But just now on air, I went to our people are terrible settings and I set the entire channel to know this is not children's friendly content. And I would figure that would protect us. However, I've got friends again that watch these certain videos that are like, well, the law is super vague. So just because you do that doesn't mean you're safe. And I'm like, this is like the satanic panic. This is
Oh, it's exactly what it is.
it's extreme, dude. It's like, come on, you're there. You have bought into this narrative at this point. I don't think I'm not changing what I'm doing. And that's what I kept saying to this friend of mine. And he's like, if you're the person that gets fucking, caught up in the mix, then I guess that's the way the cards fall. And I'm like, dude, if I get shut down on YouTube, I guess I can just go to Twitch or
Go
Facebook or
audio only,
fucking, huh?
or just go audio only,
Right.
which is where the views are anyway, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
And,
fucking matter.
my thing that is too, and there's actually a great YouTube video, it's like 30 minutes if people are interested. It's, Shartimus Prime, which is a funny name.
That's a great name.
He does apparently toy reviews, and his one I just watched today is very in depth. And he's kind of the same thing. He's like, I used to work for the government, and he talks about how these are going to be manually reviewed. This isn't like YouTube where YouTube just cuts everything. They are going to go watch videos. They have a big thing going, and they're not going to spend time watching videos like ours. They're just not.
No.
Yeah.
They're 2 hours long and fucking 15 people are gonna see them.
Also, too, ours aren't monetized anyway. So we literally can't get in trouble for this
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
literally about monetization. The thing is, here's the breakdown of it. All it is saying is YouTube now is coming out and saying, well, we're just not going to gather. information on kid friendly stuff. Like we're just not going to do it like on kids channels, like toy channels and that type of stuff, and Twitch on let's plays and those type of things. And we're not going to gather information. They're saying we're abiding by the law. We're not going to gather information. So we're going to do normal ads on there, but they're not going to be targeted ads. That's what this whole thing is about. Is that right there? That's the bullet points of it, and everyone's freaking out.
Yeah, so much ado about nothing.
It reminds me of, I cannot think of it, but remember the internet privacy whatever thing like 4 years ago,
Oh, net neutrality?
net neutrality. I remember
Uh-huh.
that. I told everybody nothing's going to happen. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's a lot of sensationalism. It's a lot of, and here we are years later. Nothing's changed.
I
It was a
did a
lot.
little grandstanding on that and even got involved on a fucking legislative level. I was getting notifications and stuff. I mean, every time there was a new bill or every time they were trying to vote or any of that, like I was getting notified directly to my phone, and I thought it was going to be some like it was going to be a very, very grim outcome, and alas, nothing has really
Well,
changed.
and the reason why, and we've talked about this, depending on, because every fucking news has an agenda now. No one can just state facts. So, um, and sometimes the right's wrong, sometimes the left wrong. Depending on what news source you listen to, net neutrality was the apocalypse. And
Yeah.
I remember watching. It was like MSNBC and literally being like, "This is the apocalypse," and then Fox News, and this really doesn't have any bad kids at all. And then having to go to the source and dig through tons of paper to read it and go, oh, this we're going back to 2012. This is really, it's just deregulation. It's not that big of a deal, you
Yeah.
know. Like if anything, it could actually drop internet prices. So, but that's not a headline. You know what I mean? To be
Right.
like, oh yeah, you know, this it could hurt this maybe a little bit, but you know, it could give actually it's actually pro competition because it gives the ability for smaller companies to get into the business, which actually could lower prices. Like there were positives that could have come out from this. So far, no positives nor no negatives have really come. But that's not a sexy headline. The end of the fucking internet, sexy headline.
Yes, how this can affect you, and
Mhm.
then you're like, "Oh my god, I'm part of this story. This is gonna really change things for me specifically." And I feel like it's a really great way for content creators to get views.
I have a funny net neutrality story. So I'm walking back from a bar from dinner, me and my wife are. And this person on the corner is like, have you heard about net neutrality? I'm like, yeah. Well, you need to sign this. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. And he's like, why? I'm like, and I tried to like have a conversation with this guy, you know, and be like, hey, so here's, because I've done research. I clearly was more educated on it than the guy who was actually wanting me to think. And he's like, you can guarantee in 2 years you're gonna. He starts screaming at me. You're gonna regret this decision. It's gonna be the worst decision you've ever made. And I'm like, yeah, bro,
We'll
sure it
see.
is. We'll see. And like 2 years later, we're fine.
I just now got a let's see where'd it go. Oh, I just now had it in front of me, but it was something about COPPA. Damn it, now it disappeared. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm not all that concerned about it. I guess we will see the way that it all plays out. But for right now, I'd
It
say
will hurt
keep
big
doing what
channels,
you're doing. Yes, yes. If you're
big
at the
toy channels.
level where you're getting 100,000 views on the average video, maybe you should start considering checking the boxes.
The guy who that shot him as Prime says he's not concerned and he gets 500,000. He's like, they clearly state they're going to people who are getting like millions of views.
Yeah, yeah. I told a buddy, I was like, I think it's kind of like for bigger channels. And he's got 15,000 subscribers, and I'm like, yeah, like bigger channels than that. That's not all that big when you think about it in the big scheme of things. I mean, if you're getting 15,000 views on every video, that's fucking awesome. That's awesome, but it's also still relative, you know? It's like compared to what some of these channels generate, it's a drop in the hat. So,
And then they only like, here's the thing that people don't realize. It's the same thing when people are trying to impress me, people this. Here's the harsh reality of the world. The world doesn't give a fuck about you and it doesn't even know you exist.
yeah. Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Yeah. It's I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right. Well, enough about that. Let's get down to the brass tacks here, Caleb. What's your topic?
So my topic is the Sonic redesign better than the original Sonic?
Yes. End of discussion. Thank you very much for coming by, you guys. Peace. No. All right. What do you think?
No, I don't think it is at all.
You don't think the new design is better than the previous design?
I think it's more familiar, but I don't think it's better.
Okay, let's define better.
So better, I feel like is meaning artistically has more value.
Mm.
Is better to me. You know, like or even rendering. First of all, it's rendered a lot less technically speaking. Like it doesn't look as good. There's less hair textures and all that. So we can do technically it's not better, but I'm not even taking that from stance. To me, this now is a character in a movie that was clearly not designed for this artistic style. What I mean by that is this is a Pixar character in a live action movie. This character would be great in a Pixar movie or in an all CG movie, but it's clearly not designed to be that. They wanted a realistic, more realistic take on this character. People freaked out, and now it is more of a more familiar, phoned in, uninspired design.
Well, I can play both sides of this angle. For one, when it comes to design, they designed a live action Sonic, and then they undesigned the live action Sonic. So
Yes.
what we have now isn't a design, it's Sonic. It's not a redesign, it's just Sonic. And I like Sonic. I think the original Sonic is a great design. But this idea of they weren't trying to make a realistic hedgehog for the movie. So it was this weird hybrid of they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to still be a blue hedgehog that stands up on its hind legs, that's got teeth and a face that's slightly human. And you're right, you could see the hairs, the actual texturing in the design of it before better than you can now. But it was a good design in the first place. Like I like the original Sonic design. I didn't really care for the design in the movie, and now it's back to the design that I
There,
familiar maybe
there
is
was
the word.
nothing wrong with this design to me.
That's the
You know,
original one.
yeah, it's the original design.
That's a good picture of it.
Yeah, there was that one scene where they saw his teeth, which
That
was a little weird.
that's what fucked everybody up, and that's the one that I go to where you can see his bottom teeth.
This one,
Yes.
even that, I don't think that's a bad design. I really don't. I think that's a more realistic as you can rendering of what Sonic would look like, quote unquote, if Sonic were real. You know, which I think is kind of cool when you do that. When you take a character and you go. So the thing is, that design, the old design of that picture, uh, that was used, the original design, is some artist on Instagram, some movie designer. And if you go to that original post, thousands of how this is the coolest version of Sonic. Oh my God, this is such a cool take on the character. And then you get later in the comments as the movie came out, and then everyone freaked out. You know, it's the same thing when you see like a redesign of a comic book character. When it happens in the comic, everyone loves it. Then it gets to mainstream audiences and they go, wait, this isn't my childhood. This is a different take on something I love. Yeah, it's a different take on something you love. That's the point of this, you know?
So if if the current iteration after all of the redesigning of it, if that were the character that we got from the rip, would it have changed your perspective? If you didn't have this other to compare it to, would you be cool with the new design?
I honestly, I mean, that's the least problems of the movie look like this design,
Yeah, I'm with you.
um, but I would look at it and go, oh, it's. I would still have the opinion. Oh, you threw a Pixar movie. You put a Pixar character in a movie. Like I don't like that personally. When you take a live action movie, if you want to make an animated film, make an animated film. You know, essentially they Roger Rabbited this.
What do you think about Detective Pikachu?
That's a realistic take on that character.
But it's still, I mean, distinctly Pikachu.
But what do you think about Mr. Mime? You're gonna tell me that's not terrifying?
I hadn't seen the movie, so I don't know I don't even know what that is.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this up. And no one, everyone was like, it looks great. It's terrifying. All the other characters are creepy as shit. And they kind of did the same thing of that like in between thing, but Mr. Mime is terrifying in it.
Oh, that's gross looking.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone loved it. He's disgusting because he's a disgusting character.
And then
And
what's the other one? The little little pink fleshy.
yes, Jigglypuff.
Yes. Oh
That's what I'm,
man.
that's what I'm saying. These to me, these are more similar to the original Sonic than they are to the new Sonic. I mean,
I
they're kind of in the in between.
No, not Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff
I
is
don't know what
cute.
was the
It's
other
the
one.
one with the long tongue.
Oh, Lickitung. The
Good
only
old
reason
lick of
I know
tongue.
this is because um, Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm peripherally familiar. I definitely knew Jigglypuff. That's why when I heard you say that, I had to Google it. But I don't know, man. When I saw that new Sonic trailer, it does the thing that nostalgia does. It's like, oh wow, this new trailer reminds me of the 2D game. Everything about the new trailer is done to evoke classic Sonic. The music, the way that it does the 16-bit graphics at the beginning. I like the trailer. I'm not going to like the fucking movie. It doesn't matter. Like you said, the design of the character is the least of what is going to make or break a movie, you know?
Well, here's my thing: is that movie should have been all CG to begin with. You
Sure.
know, there's no reason it should have been live action, and especially if we're gonna go on nostalgia. I don't know if you ever watched the Sonic cartoon,
Nah.
Sonic Underground. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's like about a rebellion against Dr. Robotnik, who's this big corporation taking over and turning robots into animals, but it's set in an alternate reality. There's like it's the whole concept of bringing him into the real world from his fake world is kind of like no, they should just follow the thing. But if we're gonna do like bring him into another dimension, into the real world, to me, making him look quote unquote real is a better option.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I don't like this whole trend of bringing cartoon or video game characters into the real world.
I
Why
agree.
even do that? Like it's they've always had a difficult time understanding what it is about these properties that people like or care about in the first place. It seems like it would have been so easy to do, like you mentioned, a Pixar or a DreamWorks style version of Sonic that exists solely in that world. Maybe kid audiences like the hybrid, or maybe producers just think they do.
I don't know because to me, I feel like, and honestly, had this been an all CG movie, I think that new design is perfect for that. You know, like
Yeah.
it is perfect for that. It's just you can clearly tell this was not meant to be the original design because it doesn't fit. You know, I guarantee you, there's other scenes like that you've seen where like the missiles are coming at him and the robots are flying and they're rendered realistically and now with a cartoon character, and it's like so why it's a disconnect. Pick one. Are we going to render it as a cartoon or are we going to render realistic? And I hate that whole in between thing. Like, we're going to just throw cartoon characters in our movies because of nostalgia. And I'm like, well, just make a fucking cartoon.
Yeah, what's the problem with that medium? I don't get it.
To
That's
me, there's things that are better in animation. There just are, you
yeah.
know? To me, imagine if you did a live action Big Hero 6, okay? Let's take that property. Um, and everyone was live action, but you kept him looking exactly like he did in the Pixar movie. You'd be like, well, that's weird. Why didn't they render him realistically? And they're like, well, because we wanted to just keep the original design. To me, that's what this movie's doing, and I just think it's bizarre. I think it doesn't look good. I think it's rendered very poorly, and people are happier because it's familiar.
There's this weird thing that I've noticed about some of the fan redesigns where
Mhm.
they make Sonic's eyes one big solid eye.
Because that's how he is in the games.
That's so dumb.
And that there's some people are still bitching because he doesn't have one eye. And I'm like, because it's a stupid design. It's a weird animation design.
Yeah, and it's fine in that context where it is just it's not supposed to be akin to reality. It's weird. So I mean, I
I
just
will say him having gloves, I think, because in the original, wasn't it when his hands just white? I think him
uh-huh.
having gloves is a cooler design. You know, that's like a small thing that I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, like, look here, here's this picture. I'm gonna pull up this. I just don't think this is the new one. I don't think that looks good.
No. No, it
Just,
doesn't.
it doesn't look good. Like his proportions are weird and cartoony, and it just looks out of place.
So I'm just for the shits and giggles. Best video game adaptations. I know Rotten Tomatoes ranked them all. I think there's like 42 of them that they looked at, and it wasn't all of them, but okay, let's see here. This was done recently. I think it might even be specifically because of the
Well,
fact that Sonic's coming out.
this movie's gonna tank no matter what, too.
Number 42 on the list, which is the lowest ranking of all, has a 1% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was the UA Bowl Christian Slater movie Alone in the Dark. I
Oh, have
saw
you
it.
ever seen it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
it's bad.
It's fucking horrible. It's
It is
super bad.
awful.
And then we scroll all the way down. It's amazing how many of these that Uwe Boll himself has actually done. I feel like he's directed probably about 10 that are based on video games. I mean, if I wanted, let's see, he did Alone in the Dark, Siege, something of the King. He did Blood Rain, Postal, House of the Dead. I
All
mean,
of them,
yeah, he's done so many of them, man.
all bad.
And they're all terrible. And so, okay, the number one ranked is the Angry Birds movie 2. It's got a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. So the highest ranking, as far as critical reaction, 73% of critics gave a positive review to the Angry Birds 2 movie. The one behind that is actually Detective Pikachu, which got a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't see, did you see that?
No, but it looks actually really good. It's someone who thinks Pokemon's pretty horrible.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not familiar with Pokemon. I'm not a fan because I just don't know anything about it.
I played like one of the games, and I'm like, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
I don't like the anime.
Yeah. But the reason why I say this is like, what kind of expectation are they having out of this in the first place? Like, none of these have been huge commercial hits. So, like, they just now went and spent, I mean, I'd imagine tens of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, on fixing this thing that's not going to equate to more box office. This design only appeased the 30-something-year-old men who were going to
Yep.
go see the fucking movie either way. I don't know that Sonic is a hot property with the kids these days. Maybe it is, and I just
No,
don't
man. I
know.
mean, I don't even remember the last time they made like a relevant Sonic game or the cartoon series. I agree, it's not for kids, but it is clearly a kids film.
So those two that I just mentioned, Angry Birds 2 and Detective Pikachu, are the only two out of the entire 42 that are not rotten on the tomato meter score, which obviously is not the end all be all, but just as
No,
far as gauging how well the critical and the commercial response to this movie is, we can anticipate that, like, and I even feel like because they caved to the will of the fans, that critics are going to be even more critical and harsh of it now. So it's going to be even more popular to shit on it because they worked even extra hard on it.
so guess how much the Sonic redesign cost?
Oh God, how much?
35 million.
Jesus Christ. Why would the studio do that?
Oh no, sorry. So there's two different ones. One says 35 and one says 5. So let's even go on the lower end of 5 mil.
Okay, let's look at that.
So let's
Charlie's
go.
Angels just now opened at $8 million. That's all it brought in its opening weekend as a Charlie's Angels movie. And maybe Sonic has got more cultural clout than that. But if it opens at $10 million, then half of its opening weekend box office went to redesigning the hedgehog.
They're saying it's anywhere between 5 to 35 million. It's anywhere between that. They don't know. But the film's budget was already 100 million. So let's
Oh my
say
God.
this film's not going to make 100 mil. It's not,
There's no fucking way.
And if they did add another 35 million on top of it, like, there's just no way. Plus there's probably new marketing budget involved. There's, because I had to do new posters and cut new trailers. Like, this is going to appease. It reminds me of the Ninja Turtles 1 versus 2. And I bring this example. Everyone freaked out about the redesign and it being too dark, so they went lighter in tone. Then no one saw the second film because the people who were already pissed at it were not going, even though the first film was a commercial success and they had a big fan base. Well, they didn't like the second one because now you just appeased. You stop appeasing people on the internet with no artistic ability. Like, just stop doing
What did you think about the first and the second Turtles?
it. The first film's great. I mean, it's great for turtles. I put in quotes. It's not a great film, but like for turtles, it's a very competently well made, more adult based turtles. Second one is an unwatchable Looney Tunes cartoon.
I had fun with the second one.
Oh, I couldn't watch a scene of it. Like it was the worst. I saw the first movie like 4 times in theaters.
That downhill skiing battle I thought was a super
Well,
cool set piece.
that the beatboxing scene and the rooftop fight were all pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I mean, you look at the box office numbers. First one did gangbusters. Second one did horrible. I mean, granted, and the thing is now, like in hindsight, this is typically what happens. Most people kind of agree with me now. You know, they're like, yeah, the first movie was probably the better of the two.
Yeah.
But it's just that fan outrage, and that happens all the time. Everyone freaks out. I mean, it sounds like we're finally getting Snyder cut. So, you know, after everyone freaking out about Justice League, now we're finally getting Snyder cut, and that's going to be the popular opinion that Zack Snyder is probably should have been directed the film to begin with. You know, and that's what happens. Fans outcry, studios freak out. I think Twitter is the worst thing to ever happen to film
Just art and
in art.
general everything, man. It is a fucking disaster. Yeah. This is saying, and this is just some IMDb list that probably somebody compiled, but their opening weekend prediction is 40 to 50.
Yeah,
Total domestic 100 to 150. Total worldwide 350 to 4. Get the fuck out of here. There's no way it's going to make $450 million worldwide.
maybe on the world scale, maybe in China.
Dude, I don't know, man. But this person's also predicting that it's going to get a 7 out of 10
Oh,
IMDb score.
there's
Their
no way.
credibility is out the window. Let's try this again.
It's going to be a 4 out of 10.
Yes, yes, if that. And I mean, I'm seeing a bunch of things saying it's going to be one of the biggest box office bombs of the year,
Oh,
you know?
that's where my prediction is. Whether they change this design or not, because Jim Carrey looks like one of the worst parts of this film.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
granted, I think Jim Carrey's doing what he should be doing. I think Jim Carrey's best used for children's content.
Yeah, I mean, I really like his dramatic shit, man.
Oh, I agree. I mean, but as comedy takes, I
Yeah,
feel like
okay.
his comedy to me, and I was actually having this conversation, has always been kids humor with adult themes, which I don't like that. I'm like, pick one again. Are you going to do kids goofy faces, or are you going to be an adult and pervy?
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
like I don't need a pervy adult doing kids faces. Like it's like like give me a well written comedy. But I feel like he's perfect for kids content, but he looks bad in it. And
Sin-
why is no one going off about the Dr. Robotnik design?
yeah, right? He
He
doesn't
looks
look accurate.
he looks way less accurate than that Sonic did.
It's a really good point. But
It's
you can't do that as just you can't do that as unless it was completely CGI.
you know,
You couldn't do that character.
well, you could put him at least in a fat suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, why not? They like the fat bastard looks more like Dr. Robotnik than Jim Carrey does.
So Cinema Blend says the reaction to the to the redesign comes down to one specific metric: the like and dislike ratio on the new trailer on YouTube. At the time of this writing, that video currently is sitting at 88800 excuse me 888,000 likes and only 15,000 dislikes. That response, according to official data collected by Paramount Pictures, is higher than any other film this year, with a trailer that scored over 500K views on YouTube. So the fans are seemingly very, very happy about this new design if they're quantifying it by likes on YouTube videos,
They
which
don't understand how YouTube likes work, I don't think.
no, one doesn't translate to the
There
other. And I will be like, I admitted, I like the trailer a bit. I still don't think I'm going to see this movie in theaters.
no one is. That's what people need to get out of their head is like the people who are like, "Oh, I like this now." It's like, "You listen to us. We won. I'm still not gonna see it." But
Yeah. But my voice made a difference.
yeah.
And that's a bad precedent to fucking set on a whole separate conversation.
Ugh, I hate it. It's one of those biggest things I hate about the internet is letting unartistic people determine what should be art.
What did Terminator Dark Fate open last weekend to $29 million domestic box office and made only 2.8 on Friday and November 8th, marking a 73% drop in the first week. So
I think that's going to be similar for Sonic. I don't think Sonic's going to make any money.
Okay, so that was the new Terminator movie, $30 million opening weekend. The new Charlie's Angels opening weekend,
That movie tanked.
it tanked big time, and apparently it's because guys don't go see
Oh, I
female
know. That's what the
movies
director came out and said.
unless it's Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel and all these other fucking movies where
They,
they definitely did make a lot of money.
they say that, like, about video games too. They're like female-led video games. I'm like Tomb Raider. Like Tomb Raider's are gangbusters. What are you talking about?
Yeah. They
Like,
projected that it was going to make 12 to 13 million opening weekend, and I think it hit about $8 million. So Charlie's Angels, known property that people haven't gave a shit about in 20 plus years.
yeah,
Terminator Dark Fate had a horrible sequel about other entry into the series like 3 or 4 years ago. So somewhere between $8 and $30 million, I'd imagine. I'm probably gonna say 20 million, $15 million opening weekend.
I think you're probably accurate. I think it might hit like 20. You know,
If
like
it does, then it's going to have such a huge drop off in week 2. That's another thing I wonder is like everybody that cares about Sonic's probably gonna go see it in the first weekend.
like this is one of those things I wouldn't even take my kid to it unless she was like, I really want to see Sonic. You know,
But
like it
more
would be
likely,
like
she would be like, "What is Sonic?"
that's the thing is I don't think she would. You know, I don't think she knows what Sonic is.
Uh-uh.
And that's the thing is because of this weird nostalgia play, they're making kids films for kids, but about properties that they don't know anything about.
Yeah, and
Like
it's really for their weird fucking man-children parents.
even to bring it back to that, we were talking about the Turtles one. They did the original Bebop Rocksteady designs for the movie, for the second movie, and made it a kids film. Even though there was a TV show running with very different design Bebop and Rocksteadies currently on it with different origins, one of which was Russian. Why not make them the new versions? Because if you're making a kids film, when you want it to be the new version so the kids go and go, oh, okay, that's the version I like.
New Bebop and Rocksteady. I don't think I've seen him yet.
Bebop and Rocksteady, he's super skinny, the pig is. And
Oh,
then,
yeah, that's a weird design.
like, why wouldn't you do that version if you're going to make, you know what I mean?
Why
Like,
would they make the pig skinny?
oh,
Man,
dude, it's such a good character, though.
is he?
These are the only version of Bebop and Rocksteady I can tolerate.
You're so weird.
And I'm telling you,
Which one's the
that show's
Russian one?
great, man. Watch that show; it's great.
Which of the two is Russian? Bebop?
Um, Rocksteady, Rocksteady's Rocksteady is the Rhino.
Yeah, interesting.
He's a Russian's like arms dealer.
I really like the design for fucking Rocksteady and Bebop in the Turtles sequel, but man, I will never forget. It was Razor and Tonka from Secret of the Ooze that I thought were the coolest, man.
Oh man, that's so bad. Have you go back and watch those movies?
Oh no, never will.
Oh, dude, watch that. The first movie's decent. Watch that second movie. It's unwatchable. And I loved it as a kid. It is, and it's so funny because people are like, Secret Ooze is the best. I'm like, you haven't watched that movie in 20 years, have you? Because it is one of the worst movies ever.
From one of the things that I remember hearing about it is that they weren't even allowed to use their weapons in it.
Yep. So they fight with like sausages and stuff.
That's weird. That's one of the things that kind of does always suck about the animated Turtles as opposed to the comics. I'd imagine is like at least in the comics they're like allowed to use the weapons. It's kind of like the first couple X-Men movies where like Wolverine can't
Yep.
be Wolverine.
Well, it's even like the new Turtles movie, the one you like. They don't use their weapons in that movie.
Is that right?
Yeah, they kick. They hold them out and kick people, but they never actually slice anyone or do anything or hit them with it.
Well, that's the thing, because like the leader of the Turtles would just be a straight up murderer, like Raphael and Leo.
In the first issue of the comic, he cuts off Shredder's head.
Yeah, I heard that on the Toys That Made Us, what we were talking about earlier. I didn't really know anything about Shredder from the comics, but apparently they killed him in issue 1, huh?
He's a very minor character. Very minor. He's not even close to the main villain of Turtles.
Have you seen Dave Raposa's version of the Turtles?
I think they're awesome.
Dude, his what's the name of the fly guy?
Oh, Stockman.
Stockman is crazy looking, dude.
Dude, his stuff's so dope. I have his Casey Jones tattooed on me.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Where at?
So I'll actually see if you can see it. I don't know if you can.
That is so dope, dude. Yeah, I see it. That's
So,
awesome.
so yeah, I have his Casey Jones tattooed on me.
I'm not showing you anything you don't know. I should have figured that much.
So I no, I his stuff's so dope. And but again, if those designs were used in the movie, everyone would lose their shit, even though everyone loves them.
His foot soldiers or Foot Clan are even freaking cool looking.
Yeah, because he still did them like robots, didn't he?
No, it's just like a purple ninja.
I thought they were yeah, like from the cartoon where they're robots with the elongated heads.
I don't know. You'd have to tell me. This one, he looks.
I think so. Let me look. Dave Raposa, foot soldier.
I mean, it's a very minimalist take on it. It just looks like he's wearing almost like a Deadpool
Oh
costume.
no, he like combined the. So it is the robot design, but not as robotic.
Wait, all the Foot Clan hasn't been robots through. Oh no, they're like gang members in a lot of it.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
only in the cartoon.
Oh, that's the only time that they're robots.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know
No,
that.
the cartoon's the biggest bastardization. Like, so anything in the cartoon is not how it actually is.
Um,
That's
did
the
you?
only version where April's a reporter too.
What is she in the other ones?
She works at an antique store, and then another one, she's a scientist.
Ah, look at that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. It's been good to talk to you.
yeah, man. If not, I'll talk about turtles all day.
There's
You know I will.
there's also though like I want you to be able to tell people to go check out your deviant art because you've been really doing a lot of really great stuff lately, and people should be able to find it if they want to.
It's at Sketchy Caleb on Instagram, and then DeviantArt / Sketchy Caleb.
Are you allowed to upload whatever kind of art you want to deviant art?
Yeah.
There's no like
You
regulations on that.
you can't monetize certain things, so I can't sell like something that's based on a license.
But your anatomy drawings are fine.
Oh yeah, all that's fine.
Cool. Hell yeah,
So
dude. What
speak
else?
of, have you seen Dave Raposa's Thundercats?
Nah.
Oh, it'll give you life, man. It's amazing. His Lion-O's dope.
I like that guy's shit.
Yeah, super talented. I wish I could, and it's all digital and it looks like traditional art. I don't know how the hell he does it.
Oh, one more kind of. I think I mentioned it to you. I found a seventh generation 10.2 inch 64 GB iPad for $250 on Black Friday. So I'm
Oh,
gonna be
dude.
jumping in with you here in a couple days.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see what you do with it. And my advice is stick with it. It does get easier as you start doing it more.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I couldn't do shit on it at first, and I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm getting closer.
No, but it's been exponential over the course of like not a half a year, like four
Like
months, 3 months.
3 or 4 months, yeah, 3 months probably.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's looking great, man. I'm proud of you, and I really do like it. We'll have to try to figure out some way that we can collaborate. I don't know exactly what that would even look like yet, but I'd like to do that with you.
or like you could do one. Somebody could do like pencils. Someone could do colors. Like do comic book take on it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, man. Well, have a good week. I'll talk to
All
you
right,
soon, and thank you guys for stopping by to check out another episode. If you enjoyed it, do us a favor, take just a second to click that thumbs up button and subscribe to stay up to date with all of the terrible content. Until next time, and on behalf of both me and Caleb, be terrible. Peace.